When I first heard that Mortal Kombat 1 would be skipping the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles, but would in fact be coming out on the Switch, my first thought was, surely that means that it's going to be one of those cloud version only games like Resident Evil Village, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and so on. But I was wrong. Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch is a straight up port, running directly off of the Switch hardware. And yes, that is as bad of an idea as it sounds. Before we begin, please check out my Mortal Kombat 1 review for the version that's on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC to get a full overview of my critiques of it. Long story short, MK1 is great. There are exciting changes to the gameplay formula in the form of the cameo system, the fighting itself feels fresh thanks to some smart tweaks to how combos are structured, and the story mode is fantastic, even if some of its online features feel outdated and the invasions mode doesn't quite land. Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch can claim all of those things too, but the technical limitations of the hardware make experiencing them feel like you're trudging through whatever sludge Reptile crawled out of. Let's get the most obvious knock against it out of the way first. It looks abysmal compared to the other versions. Character models lack detailed textures, the expressive facial animations of the current gen versions are highly compromised to say the least, clothing, and sometimes even skin constantly stretches and clips through body parts, and every so often you can see straight through them. Those absolutely gorgeous stages that I praised in my other review looked like they had a heavy Gaussian blur filter applied to them in Photoshop and briefly made me think that I needed glasses. It's bad, but also this isn't a huge surprise. The Switch was an underpowered console when it launched 6 years ago, and truthfully, if this was the worst of Mortal Kombat 1's problems, I'd still be able to recommend it because even though it would look bad, it would still play great. But the issues go far deeper than just skin. Before you even get into a match, you've got to deal with egregious load times lasting on average about 40 seconds. This is made all the more noticeable by the fact that the character select screen is designed for you to quickly and seamlessly go from here into the match. On the other versions, you select your characters, they clash, say a quick 2 lines of dialogue.
You're late, Earthrealmer.
Not my fault. My train to Busan got delayed.
And when they separate, you're in the match. On the Switch, they clash, say a quick 2 lines of dialogue.
So far, I've got no signs of Tarkon.
Perhaps Earthrealmers are immune.
And then stare awkwardly at each other for about half a minute while textures pop in and out all around them. I'm just gonna let this play out so you can get a full sense of how bad it actually is. Loading pains are felt the most in both Invasions mode and online play. Invasions is particularly bad because it's designed for a ton of quick bouts that you're able to generally steamroll through in order to collect rewards like new gear pieces, skins, etc. At its best, it's already pretty grindy and slow paced, but when you add on the fact that you're frequently spending more time waiting to get in and out of a fight than you are actually fighting, it becomes straight up joyless. Ranked online play is especially frustrating because of the fact that every match is a first to 3 set, and despite playing with the same characters on the same stage with the same cameos, it still takes about 40 seconds of staring at a black screen in between each match of the set. That's just too long to wait when you consider that you're also waiting for matchmaking, waiting for opponents to accept matches, and occasionally even waiting a moment or two for fatalities to happen. But the real kicker is the actual performance of gameplay during a fight. There's a lot of slowdown that affected my timing and led to drop combos, similar to how it would feel if I was playing online with bad netcode, only this was playing locally against the CPU. But it is something that I felt to a certain degree in pretty much every match that I played. There's also a couple of weird bugs I encountered, such as Li Mei's lantern disappearing after a certain amount of time in the air, Serena's dreaded boomerang cameo attack doesn't return, which makes it essentially useless, and the list of combo trials isn't at all like the list from the other versions, with most characters getting 6 challenges instead of 7, and some characters just getting 1. If story mode is the only thing that you're interested in, then you may find some value in MK1 on the Switch. The cutscenes are pre-rendered and look great, even though the switch to in-engine fights is incredibly jarring. And the problem with long load times is mitigated due to the fact that you're just watching the story as it loads. But if I'm being honest, you'd probably be less frustrated just watching it on YouTube. Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch is nowhere close to the experience you'll have with it on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X or S, or PC. There's a hint of a great fighting game still peeking through the blurry backgrounds, but its horrendous load times, inconsistent frame rate, muddy visuals, and plethora of bugs make the Switch version an altogether aggravating way to play what is a great fighting game on other platforms. It quite simply should not have released in this state, and certainly not at a price that's equal to the superior current-gen versions. For more Mortal Kombat 1, check out my review of the current-gen versions, along with our video showcasing all the fatalities. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.